Hey everyone, this is Rakysha from Avioguide, and today we're going to talk about if I think the Frontier GoWild Pass is worth it, especially if you're flying out of Phoenix. So first we'll talk about what is the Frontier GoWild Pass. There's a lot of videos online and people who probably can explain it a lot better than I can, or just going to flyfrontier.com, go to their website and check it out to find out the actual details, because I would be very sure about the rules before I purchased. So a quick overview. The Frontier GoWild Pass, the one I purchased is the fall pass, the fall and winter pass. So it was $199. It gives me the opportunity to purchase very discounted tickets anytime between the beginning of August up until February 28th, 2027. So that's the winter pass. They also do have an annual pass as well. So my pass, like I said, is fall and winter. I can purchase tickets. It's last minute flights. They go wild fare at the lowest fare available, with the flight plus the taxes and fees. The lowest price available is going to be like $15.41. Those tickets can be purchased the day before the flight at midnight. So today is Saturday. Friday, yesterday at midnight, is when the lowest prices came available for today for me to purchase. Now, if you're looking to fly international, those flights, the lowest price available comes 10 days prior to the departure date. Now, these are one-way fares I'm talking about. So the same fare rules do apply to going back home. So if you're going back home, you're not doing a day trip and it's going to be several days out. Once you're there at your destination, you're going to have to look for those GoWild prices in order to purchase your tickets to go home. Now, after I say all that, there are some special price tickets that if you don't want to wait till the day before and you want to see if there's some fares available, there are some higher price GoWild fares that do appear a few days prior to departure. They are going to be a little bit more expensive, but if you really want to lock in that fare and want to make sure that you're going to get that seat, that's definitely an option, because all flights do not have GoWild fares. There's only certain ones, certain days, and there are a lot of blackout dates that apply. So I know that may have been confusing, but like I said, there's a lot of other videos out here that explain it a little bit better than I do, as well as going on Frontier's website. There's also a great resource. There's a lot of Facebook groups, Reddit groups as well, that you can go on that give you advice, that can guide you. There's also some different websites and apps that after you do purchase the pass, you can go on there and they can kind of help build your route. They can also help you if you're just taking day trips, just help you find the best deal possible that works for you and your itinerary. The best advice I can give you is to be flexible. If you are not flexible as far as when you can fly, what days, what times, it's probably not the best deal for you, and it may not be worth it. It's something that you have to really look into. I have a pretty flexible schedule. I can work from anywhere in the country. So for me, it is definitely something that I can do, but definitely look into it. The number one rule in my mind is that you need to be able to be flexible. If you have to fly on a certain day to get to a certain event at a certain time, or you typically only fly on Fridays or Sundays, really busy days, or you typically only fly around holidays, it's going to be really difficult to get those best GoWild fares. So since I'm discussing today out of Phoenix, I'm going to show you guys, to me, what's really important about choosing for your city if the GoWild fare is worthwhile. To me, it's really, really important to look at what cities Frontier flies to from your departure city. So if you live in Denver, you live in Atlanta, you live in those cities, there's going to be a lot of cities that Frontier flies to. If you live in other cities that there's not quite as many flights, you have to weigh your options to see if this is actually going to be worth it for you. Okay, I live in Phoenix, and as you can see, there's a lot of different cities that Frontier flies out of. We don't have the most, like I said, Atlanta or Denver, but we do have quite a few flights. So one of the complaints that people have regarding Frontier is that the connections, and you may have some long layovers, especially if, to me, it's really important to see where you can fly nonstop and if those are places that you want to go, and if you can easily connect to go to the next stop, if that makes sense. So for example, I got my Frontier pass, my GoWild pass last week, and I have taken one trip already, and that was from Phoenix to Washington Dulles. So that obviously, well, not obviously, but it is not a nonstop from Phoenix. But I was able to lay over in Vegas, which has a lot of Frontier flights, and then connect to Washington Dulles, and my layover was only 2 hours, so it wasn't a problem at all. I paid $30 total for that flight to get there, and I had a good experience. But I think it's really important to definitely look into the routes that they fly, to look at some of the examples of some of the layovers that you might have, because like if I'm looking to go to the East Coast, a lot of times there are really long layovers. Especially like you see that Frontier flies a lot to San Juan. So if I'm looking to go to Puerto Rico, in a lot of the flights, there are going to be some long layovers, like in Orlando or just whatever different cities, Atlanta. Not all of them, but there are some long layovers, and that's probably vice versa for East Coast people who are trying to come to the West Coast. Now, another thing about flying Frontier, if you're not familiar, it is an ultra low cost airline. So there are going to be different requirements, and if you're not used to flying ultra low cost airlines, it might be a little different for you. Your seat is not going to be assigned ahead of time until you check in, unless you pre-purchase your seat. You cannot bring a carry-on unless you pay extra, which is kind of common lately these days, but you are only allowed your personal item for no cost. Everything else, you're going to have to pay more. They do have something called bundles where you can add on seats, your luggage, different boarding groups, different things you can add on to your ticket in bundles if you're interested in doing that. But if you want that lowest fare that's available, you just want to pay your $16 one way, then that's going to be no pre-assigned seating prior to check-in. So once you check in, you'll get your seat, and then you're going to be carrying your personal item only. So that's definitely something that you need to be aware of. Like I said, you need to be flexible. The last thing that I think I really want to mention is that if you are in the market for getting a credit card, or you're interested and you're a responsible consumer and you want to get a credit card, if you get Frontier's card, Mastercard, along with the GoWild Pass, there's a lot of perks that really can make it worth it. Depending on the offer that they have at the time, when I was flying last week, there was an offer on board for a card. It was 70,000 miles. I believe it was after the first purchase, or 65,000 miles after the first purchase. You get 2 free check bags with that. After a certain amount of spend amount, you do get elites, I believe silver status, and different things come with that. The elite silver, there's a gold, there's different packages, and then you can get that elite status for the whole next year. If you do it after 90 days, you get it free for the first 90 days, I believe. But you have to check and see what offers are out there. You can go online and look at that. Also, after your flights, they frequently offer the card on board. And sometimes that's when you get the best offers, I've noticed. But I had a good experience. I have flown Frontier before. I've had good experiences. I've had not as good experiences as well. So you just have to weigh your costs. For me, I have a very flexible schedule. To me, it's going to pay off probably after the next flight, because I already took one flight. It was $199 from now until February 28th. I'll probably use it. I would like to use it multiple times before then. So I feel like it's going to pay off and it's going to be worth it. And the locations and places that I'm planning to fly are all accessible on Frontier's network. So you have to look into it, what's best for you. I've only had one flight now, but I'm going to come back and report to you after my next flights and let you know if I still think it's worth it from Phoenix.